Welcome back YouTube. Today's video is going to be a video based on my center console. I have a problem with the wiring. The wiring is all corroded, and today's video is just going to be a short video on what I'm doing and taking the steps to make everything work: bilge pumps, navigation lights, etc. I'm just I'm no boat electrician or anything. I'm just a handyman DIY guy, and today's video is just going to be a case of tracing wires, disconnecting bad corroded contacts, and trying to get everything up and running. So today the materials I'm going to be using, the problem I'm having is all the contacts on the multi-plugs inside behind the center console are all corroded, and the live and negative coming from the battery up behind the console, they're all corroded and they're a little bit small for my liking. So what I'm going to do today is I want to bring these from the battery up behind the center console, and they're going to be attached to these buzz bars. I have two buzz bars, one for positive, one for negative. So everything will be wired back to these two buzz bars. Everything is going to be wired through this Blue Seas, as you can see, a 6-blade fuse holder with a cover on it. The fuse holder on this boat is actually outside, so the cover is to keep everything dry. Here I have a selection of fuses, and these are terminal endings that will end up connecting to these two terminal blocks here. These are the battery connectors I'll be using. They'll go on the ends of these and connect straight to the battery, run up behind the center console, and everything then they'll connect to these, and everything then will feed off of this. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get these ends onto these wires here and connect those to the battery. Okay, here we have a series of switches here. Now they're all wired separately to all of these clocks here. These are all for the engine. As you can see behind here, it looks like a rat's nest. So you have all the engine. This is all the engine instrumentation here. This is the loom coming from the Honda output motor. Anyway, so we have all these wires here. We as you can see, there we go. We have a broken wire there. So we have all these switches, but I don't know if they're good yet or not. So these come out and they go through an existing, here we have it here, fuse panel, or fuse block. Now, as I showed you earlier, I'm going to be replacing that with a Blue Seas with spade type fuses. Anyway, so this loom, this actually goes to the switches. So this is the positive, the positive feeds for things like your washdown pump and your bilge pumps and things like that. So this, the fuse on this is the positive supply, and it goes up into these switches here, all these switches here, and then this wire comes out of the switches, and then this goes off to the boat and wherever. Like, there's nav lights at the front, there's a couple of bilge pumps, there's a washdown pump here. So all of those wires, they go off and go their merry way underneath the deck somewhere. So I'm hoping to bare all of these wires, get them all, because all of these blocks here, they're all corroded. They're no good, so they all have to be taken off. So I'm hoping to identify what wires are what, put in a new fuse panel for this fuse block, and with any luck these switches here are still working. If they're not working, well then we'll have to go about replacing all of these. Okay, so let me continue revealing this nest of wires, and I'll get back to you once I have a little bit more done. Okay, here we have the buzz bars bolted onto the bulkhead of the back of the center console. So as you can see, I have the positive connected up to this buzz bar. This one is the negative. So we just undo this here. And now we have our supply up near the console where we have the switches over here. We need to run everything from here now. So these have these plastic covers, so when we have all the wires connected onto there, these get covered and insulated from interfering with each other. So these are two heavy cables I've run back to the batteries, so I have a known good strong supply up behind the console, so everything will come from here now. Okay, as you can see now, I have these two bus bars mounted, and I have these going back to the battery compartment underneath the floor of the boat, and I've started trying to identify what all these wires are doing. So far I have, this is the neutral for the whole boat, and this wire here is for the navigation lights, and so they will ultimately connect through the Blue Seas fuse switch or fuse panel, and then onto the switch. So this is for the navigation lights. I'm guessing some of these are for bilge pumps, wash or deck wash, and one or two other bits and pieces. I think I still have to locate those. So yeah, so that's where we're going with the wiring so far. So I'll start going through these one by one and finding out what they all do, and once I've identified what all the cables will do, I will mount I will mount this Blue Seas panel on the front of the console, and the live will go in at the bottom, and then all the positive loads will come off, 3 on one side, 3 on the other side. So that'll be for things like plotter, VHF radio, instruments, bilge pumps, navigation lights, anchor light. Okay, I'll continue with the work, and I'll check back in once I've a bit more to film. Hi darling, just working on the boat with this tiny torch and the outside light when it comes on. I have one switch on. Now I turn on the switch, you see all the lights, and it also works the nav lights. Wait for that car to go by. You see the nav lights there now? See them? They all work off the same switch. So that's the first switch of 8. Okay, I'm back again now. It's gone a bit dark because I'm trying to do this between work hours. I've started putting the buzz bar in here, or I put the buzz bars in, but as you can see I have a couple of wires in the initial connections. That'll all be tidied up once the job is done. If you look here, I've got the first switch in, so you'll see I have the first switch works the nav lights, not the nav lights, the instrument display, and it also, if you look up front there, it also does the nav lights. The same switch does both things. So yeah, so I'm going to move on to the next. I have 8 switches in all for bilge pumps and instruments and things like that. So once I have more to show you, I'll get back to you. Hi John, how are you doing? Just working on the boat here underneath the torch and the outside light. Anyway, so you can see the buzz bars there. I have a couple of wires connected up now. So I have one switch. I bought new switches today, so I've taken out all the old switches. So if you look here now, the switch, nav lights, front nav lights are working. All looking good. And I have on the same switch because you're using the nav lights at night. So the same switch turns on the instruments. Now it looks a lot brighter on the camera. In person it's really quite neat, so I'm delighted with that. As you can see, the nav lights are working there, John. Okay, so part of the next install, I'm installing this VHF radio. It's going to be installed in here. I was hoping to put it in here, but it won't fit because there's a plotter going here that I'll show you again later. So anyway, I've just marked out my holes here, and I'll cut that out and I'll fit the radio. It's all part of the electrical install. I need to have these fitted now before connecting the wires. I've already pre-run all the wires underneath the floor here. You can see one of the wires is actually here. That's for that new light that you see there, and I've got another wire running down. I don't know, can you see it down there? It's for the bilge pump. So I've already fitted the this aerial connection here, this will screw down on top here. That wire now goes under the deck and up and behind the console there. So once I have everything fitted, I'm going to start the connections to the switches all here. Okay, so as you see, the hole is now fitted. The radio will go in here, and it still needs to be connected up. But on these ICOM radios, you have this flush mounting kit that mounts in behind the console. Actually, I think like this, actually, in behind the console, and then you tighten these nuts up so that holds the radio in nice and tight. As opposed to having this, you know, like a top mount bracket. So I won't be using this. I'll be using the fitting kit from behind. Okay, as you can see, I have the Garmin fitted now. It's again surface mounted because there's not enough space behind here to take the leads and the unit. So it's all looking very good now, and it stays in out of the weather. This plastic cover comes down over it, so it'll keep the unit from getting wet. So yeah, so next thing to do now is I need to put the brackets on this to hold it in there, and then start wiring everything up, putting the aerial on, and the aerial here needs to be mounted, that light needs to be mounted, and then once all that's mounted, I will start connecting everything up. Oh, and I have the bilge pumps. There's two bilge pumps, one down in the back and one underneath here. So once those are all fitted, I'll be wiring everything up. Okay, as you can see here now, we have these screws with a little ferrule in there, and another one on the other side. And what will happen is, sorry for the camera work, so this will go like this, and that fits on there like so, and then this will screw up in behind the dash to hold everything in. So once that's done, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, following on from the VHF radio install, it's installed already, but look, tune in next week for part 2 of the electrical installation. I have most of everything working, but I have to get one or two bits and pieces, and I'm going to update that in the next video. This video is getting a little bit long, you know, so I don't want it to be too long. So as you can see, the boat is behind me. Anyway, so thank you very much, and we'll catch you next week. Bye bye.